Hello, Thursday, the 11th of July. And we are looking at the daily astrology. We've got something quite significant to look at today, so I hope you'll stay along with me and listen and watch and say what you think afterwards. I'm just going to share the chart. There we go. Right, so let's recap a little bit for those people that don't keep up with this every day. So we have a long-running Pluto here, Eris here, Haumea here, T-square in the sky. So a T-square means that two planets are in opposition, in this case Haumea and Eris. And then one of the planets comes off at an angle, a 90-degree angle. And so it's making up a triangle, but it's called a T-square. I suppose it's because it's a T shape if I do that. Okay, now T-square is quite an important thing when it comes to dwarf planets. Yes, it's really important. What the delineation or the symbolism of these is all about is long-term stuff, big planetary movements, huge tidal waves in the collective. Okay, so when something goes to the other side of the T point, the fulcrum there, then we have something a lot bigger. We now have a grand cross because we've got those two in opposition and these two in opposition, making a cross in the sky. And Venus there is actually at 2954 on the cardinal cross, but in 6 minutes of arc, so that is such a small amount of time, Venus has crossed over and gone into the fixed cross into Leo. And so then is making the opposition from Leo to Aquarius. And crossing that, we've got Scorpio. And it would be Taurus to make it a fixed cross, but this is out of sign. Eris is out of sign because it isn't in Taurus, and so we have an out of sign cross in the sky, a grand cross in the sky. So what does all of this mean? I suppose that's the next thing to approach. Well, I'm going to say first off that Venus's presence here, and let's remember Venus is one of the planets close to us. These are things which are more accessible, close to home, things we understand. So Venus's presence is giving more of a material and an obvious face to the whole of the T-square issues. So because this T-square is long running, it's got certain themes and things that come with it. And when a planet which is close to us comes in and takes up a position there, making it a grand cross, then everything becomes very real, very in our lives. It's there in the news. And so we get a big opportunity to experience the anguish, I suppose, in a very real way. Venus is an Earth planet, used to it is used to symbolizing things that are attractive to us, things that can be materialized, things that can be magnetized into our lives. So you can see from that we're sort of bringing the other three planets, which are relatively unknown to us, down to Earth. Okay, so I'm going to just bring a few of the keywords for the themes in here. I'm just going to stop sharing now so that I can talk to you. There we go. So I'm going to bring in some of the themes so that you'll see those, and then we can look at what's in the news, and then you'll see that where I'm going with this. So first of all, Haumea. Okay, so a goddess, a deity that was worshipped and revered in Hawaii, Polynesian Hawaii. So obviously now an American state. And she was known for forming earth out of fire. So they would see the volcanoes spewing out the red hot lava, which would cool and form their land. So obviously, that Haumea forms land. She gives birth to land. She's also involved with childbirth, as far as they're concerned. If you're giving birth to land, you're giving birth to children as well. And she's also very much part of the landscape and vegetation, wild vegetation, that kind of thing. There were issues around population, depopulation, populations being destroyed by viruses that were brought in from the West. And so you've got native populations, their immune systems have never come across some of the Western diseases and infections, and the sailors come, they land on the islands, they give everybody these killer infections, which are killer to the islanders, and they wipe out huge amounts of indigenous people. I'm not going to comment on that. Never mind. I'll just keep going. What we've got there is a theme which is about depopulation. And it's also about repopulation, because when we look further down the Pacific Ocean and we get to Easter Island, we've got there another god there, Makemake, who very much represents population, as in depopulation, repopulation, this kind of thing. You've got them working together. They weren't unknown to each other. The gods of the Pacific Ocean, of Polynesia, they were known because there was a lot of travel, a lot of boat travel and word travel and all this sort of thing. So people used to talk to each other. So that I've just tried to do the Polynesian angle very quickly, but I hope you got that. Pluto is talking about taking things on to the next level. It's Mother Nature growing and developing along a line of evolution. And so Pluto is very much about the rich resources available to us and nature, and how those evolve to form more of nature's wondrous bounty, if you like. It was known as Pluto was known as a god of riches in Greece before it became the god of the underworld, and a lot of the riches come out of the underworld, so you can see the association. Also known with death and birth, same as Haumea, really. And Eris, so the one opposite to Haumea. Eris is a troublemaker, always going to upset things. So if there's something that you should have done and you didn't do, then it will very quickly be pointed out in an Eris contact, and you will rue the day that you didn't actually do the update to the computer, because the whole thing will get wiped. Eris has a very distinct karmic action, and it's sort of like a natural justice, but it can be quite rough. Okay, now those three are in the Kuiper Belt, and the Kuiper Belt itself is about massive changes to populations, to the planet, to the human race. So you can see now we're dealing with quite big changes. So what have we got that I could look at and say, well, this is it? Well, the first thing I think I need to talk about is the story with regard to Biden and his run for the presidency. This is a story which is very quickly gaining a lot of attention worldwide. Obviously, it's got the whole of America captivated. and it contains anguish. Yes, it does. It contains a real kind of America is absolutely stuck. It's like everything is, just suddenly frozen like a rabbit in headlights. The devil that you know, the devil you don't know, a rock and a hard place, all these things to the people involved in it and having to make big decisions about Biden's future, Biden himself, poor man. So that is a big issue, and it has a massive impact. It's going to impact a big population, those decisions. So we could see there the tension of the cross. We can see the tension caused by America's dark shadow, I'm going to say, which has not been resolved so far. There has been a lot of sort of looking within for at least 8 years, I would say, and it seems that still the things that can come out of the shadow are still coming out. Somebody said to me recently, it's America's identity crisis, and I kind of get what she meant. And I just thought, yeah, Eris will be in there stirring that. If there is something that is to come up that hasn't been resolved, Eris will be making sure that it's there in your face. Okay, so that's in the news. Israel, the terrible, terrible, awful dilemma of Israel and the Gaza Strip and the Palestinians. I mean, again, this should have been resolved before. This has been going on for so many years, and it's, I don't know, we just seem to put a sticking plaster over it all the time, and nobody ever gets to the bottom of the issues in the Middle East around that area. Okay, and then we've got the USA is now putting long-range missiles back into Germany against Russia's amazement. So there's things going on there too. Okay, so that's what's in the news for today, but I want to look at a few issues that are more long-term issues, which I have no doubt are being symbolized by this T-square in the sky. Certainly population. And we're looking at migration. We're looking at big movements of population for whatever reason. I mean, obviously we have populations on the run from war, but we also have economic migration because countries see that other countries are more wealthy and they want to go to that place because they can earn more money there, etc. And so there are all kinds of human issues behind this. Now let's look at some potential antidotes or some potential possibilities for growth that might help. First of all, if we're in climate change, and I have to say that climate change has been happening for millions of years, and there is quite regular climate change moments, including an ice age, which comes back every 26,000 years. But anyway, so, okay, if there is a climate change in operation, and I think everybody could agree that, let's just disagree about what causes it. I think we will have to say that overpopulation has got to be a major contribution. And so therefore, one of the issues behind this square is population, overpopulation. These planets can represent, they can take it away, they can give it. Their theme is that, and they talk about issues around that. And so that's a big one. I think Pluto's move into Aquarius here is an obvious opportunity. As usual, Pluto does show the way, although sometimes, again, his ways can be quite brutal to the single ant, whilst Pluto is sorting out the whole ant colony. Tech growth is essential, really. The more tech answers we can get to things that are reducing the impact of fossil fuels on the planet, but also tech things that can enable us to destroy less of the planet's surface as we seek for ways to feed the population, because the way we're going, there won't be the planet cannot survive trying to feed the amount of people that we have alive, and forecast to the growth forecast in the future. It's impossible, and this is one of our biggest problems: overpopulation. So we need technical ways, clever, sophisticated, scientific, brilliant, ingenious ideas to get us out of the restrictions of a planet which is struggling and suffering. We have to find a way for everything to get better or be in a better place. And let's start with Earth, really, because it's limited. Resources are limited. So I think there is a way there. Eris could help us in a way by just making us focus on the things that we should be doing and not causing trouble in the areas that we shouldn't be meddling in. Long-range missiles in Germany. This is a hell of a time to start. Anyway, that's just, well, I won't go any further. Okay, Haumea, talking about childbirth, talking about population, talking about the wild places. Okay. Oh, and also talking about the crust of the Earth, seismic activity, volcanic activity, earthquakes, this kind of thing. Planetary stuff in trouble. Okay, so I hope I've given you a quick and understandable synopsis of what's going on there. I'm just having a quick look at the rest of this chart just to see if there's anything else that interesting that we could just quickly look at. No, I'm going to leave it there because I'm back on tomorrow. So let me just get this up. So yeah, I'm back here tomorrow. So I'm going to I'll cover that then. And anyway, so let me just get everything in the right place. Right, thank you. So I'm going to say thank you very much. I hope that was useful. Please put comments. I mean, this recording goes onto YouTube, onto my channel on YouTube, Alice and Chester-Lambert. It also goes onto my Facebook business page, Alice and Chester-Lambert. Thank you. I would really appreciate it if you would share. That would be brilliant. The other thing is, I love your comments. I get into bed at night and I go, oh, goody, and I've got my cup of cocoa. Honestly, I have raw cacao cocoa, which I absolutely love. And I sit there sipping my cocoa and going, oh, and I answer all of them. And it's like talking to my friends in a midnight chat on a WhatsApp group. I just love it. So thank you. Thank you. And there is a few people who always comment, and I just love to see those. I just love to see their names. Oh, here she is. Let's have a look. So thank you. And there's another video tomorrow, Friday, and then obviously I don't do them at the weekend. But anyway, I shall enjoy talking to you tomorrow. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you listening. I really, really do. Thank you. Okay, bye.